Hey friends, my name is Michelle and I just wanted to start my channel with a story time because my life has taken a huge transition from, working full time and being a wife to finding out I'm pregnant and then being jobless. So that's a huge transition that probably no one is really ready to make, and I just wanted to share my story with you guys. Anyways, don't mind my laundry and my dog and my cat. They're just being crazy today. I'm doing a lot of chores and things like that. So anyways, basically what happened was back in May, me and my husband, we decided we wanted to start trying again for a baby after we had a miscarriage in January. And it took us a while to transition only because, that was my first time being pregnant, and he has a couple kids, but I had a really hard time and he was taking it very difficult. But anyways, I ended up finding out I was pregnant in May around the 17th, I believe. And so I think that was like a Thursday, and I found out, and it was a couple days before I was supposed to get my period, but I didn't really want to tell anyone. I wanted to find out for sure. So on Saturday, what I did was I took a digital, and that was like, bam, positive within 2 of the blinking windows, the time windows. Usually it goes all the way through. I think it's like 5 windows, but it said pregnant right at the 2nd window, and I was like, all right, this must be a viable pregnancy. But because of the miscarriage, we were like, look, let's just go to the doctor, have them, urine test or blood test or whatever they need to do, just to verify, because I didn't want to get excited about something that I was going to lose. And I know that sounds bad, but I was already in pain physically. I was physically in pain, and I had a loss that I've never had experienced before, so I didn't really want to set myself up for another loss if I could potentially avoid it. So we ended up going to the doctor, and she took some blood and all that, and they said they would call me back. I waited a couple days, and I started to panic. I'm like, well, maybe there's something wrong, or if they're not calling me back, then maybe it's fine. But what if it's not? Maybe it's just a delayed reaction. They want to figure out how to tell me. I don't know. At this point, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know what to think. That's Callie. She's a kitten. We got her in May, around the same time I found out I was pregnant, just in case I had to be heartbroken I could have a companion. I know it sounds way bizarre. Anyways, so during this time that I'm like trying to figure out that if I'm actually pregnant and if it's going to be a viable pregnancy, I was working full time at a call center, and I was an admin assistant. I had 2 roles. I was admin assistant for the director of our entire site, as well as our recruiting receptionist, which meant I was answering the phones. I was the face of the site when all new employees came to the building. So I was helping them, get placement and talk to recruiters for a new job. I was also, coordinating site events. I was speaking with, vendors for food and coordinating flyers for any upcoming events that we were having for our employees. So I did a lot of things, and this was generally like a happy time for me. I was working full time. It's kind of hard to explain the feeling when you are in a routine. You are working with people that you're close to, and you're not expecting to one day not come to work and not see those people. You're not even expecting to wake up one day and I don't work today. You know, you're not going to see those people anymore. So that wasn't anything that we were overly concerned about. But during the week that I was waiting for this phone call, we were having visitors from corporate, you know, just the normal meetings that you would expect when it's going towards the end of a month and you're starting a new month. You know, finances and plans for the next month to build revenue and, you know, hire new employees and build these training classes up because it's peak season, it's summertime, you know, school's ending. And it was a wireless carrier call center. So, I mean, there's new phones launching, there's new plans launching. So it was just a whole bunch of things, and that was not in our mind. Like, there was no rumors, I guess you could say. Anyways, I ended up getting a call that Wednesday, and my doctor was really, really sweet. This is the first time I've ever been with this doctor. I still have her now. That's a whole nother situation. But she told me that, you know, my HCG levels looked awesome, and she was very confident that this wasn't going to be another miscarriage, which I thought was absolutely wonderful. And I kind of cried a little bit, you know, because that's exactly what I wanted. So that was the following week, because I found out on the 17th. So the following week is when we got those good results. So, you know, we had some time to soak in that information. But by May 31st, we had corporate back again. And this time they were having large meetings with everybody in our site. And that was the day that they told us So they did a meeting with the supervisors first, and then they did a meeting with all leadership and people that were basically running like operations, which included myself. And when my assistant director looked at me, I was like, well, you know, what's going on? You know, why you kind of look, you know, concerned or upset? And so she was like, oh, you'll know by the end. And I was like, okay, you know, all right. And what could this meeting be? What could we be so upset about? So in this meeting, they got us together and they let us know that in 60 days that they were going to be closing our site. And I remember, you know, being in that meeting and someone just broke down crying because there was a lot of tenured people where I worked. I was tenured. I was hitting my 3.5-year mark. I was almost going on 4 years. And being able to do the job and get promoted several different times, you know, you build your performance and your character, and then bam, you're about to lose all of that. So when this man just started breaking down crying in our meeting, I was freaking out. I was like, I don't want to cry. I don't want to get emotional because I love my leadership and I just didn't want anyone to see. And I was hormonal at the time, so I'm pretty sure that mix, I had a meltdown and I just ran the hell out of there. I was like, I can't be in here. I can't sign these documents right now. So I didn't do that. I just ran out and I went to my office, and someone, you know, was there to catch the people that were running out, basically, you know, and comfort them and, you know, talk them through that reaction period. And that was really hard for me. That was like, wow, you know, I'm so pregnant right now. It's making me emotional, but, you know, like, I'm pregnant, I'm having a child, and I need that income to support my new family, my growing family. You know, that's a shock. You know, there's a happy surprise, and then there is, well, you're gonna be jobless in 60 days. I mean, let's really soak that in. So I was in shock. I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't like the sound of that at all. And work wasn't like a chore. I didn't have to like dread going to work. there was probably days where I was like, oh, you know, I don't want to be here today because I don't want to deal with this situation because it was probably gonna give me anxiety, or I was having anxiety about that situation. But work was, those people were family, everyone was family, so we just had a really hard time separating. I'm just looking at my notes. So a lot of people would say like, well, wasn't there like red flags? Or when I think about it now, red flags for a closure of a whole entire site, like an entire call center, I would say that our indications were, so basically our call center was in a building, secluded. It was in more of an industrial business area, and we rented half of the building, which was 2 floors. Now the first floor was for training classes, like new hire classes and things like that, but we weren't currently occupying our classrooms and we weren't filling up our site. So when they stopped new hire classes and when they said there was a lack of trainer availability, that was something that was like, oh, that's weird. I see the trainers here. What do you mean they're not available? So that was kind of like, it feels like something's wrong, but it was really played out to be nothing was happening. And then the other thing was about 2 months later after that scenario, we still weren't hiring anybody. Actually, we actually canceled about 2 new hire classes. They ended up saying that we needed to consolidate our resources, which meant because we weren't filling the site and we were no longer hiring people, we did not need to rent or pay for the space they weren't using. So they took away the entire first floor and we were all scrunched up into the second floor. And so that took us like 3 days, and that was like a rush, like get it done now sort of thing, like corporate's coming, blah day, ASAP, like stat. So that was another thing that was probably a red flag indicating that the site was no longer going to be operating, that it just wasn't, I mean, during the consolidation, they're like, well, because we're not hiring people, which means we're not building enough revenue to pay for the mortgage. So you have to consolidate your resources or your office space. So that was something that a lot of people had a hard time understanding. But for me, you know, I'm pregnant, I'm losing my job in 60 days, so I had a hard time understanding it the first week or so. So right now, well, I'm not really sure where I'm trying to go. My train of thought is going everywhere because pregnancy brain. But basically, you know, I had some ultimatums, you know, 60 days of work. What do I want to do? What do I want to do that's either going to benefit me or benefit the baby? And initially I was like, oh, you know, I'll go back to school. I will, you know, get an education so I can provide for the family. But also at this time, my husband ended up getting a new job, and his new job has allowed us to have me stay at home. So I went from a working wife, and now I'm a stay-at-home wife, soon to be full-time mom. And I think our income is 400 plus what we were making at his old job and me working. So right now, things can be tight at times, but they're doing okay. I can do another video, but I just wanted to share everyone, you know, I'm 22 weeks pregnant. I'm currently a stay-at-home wife. I'm taking care of the animals and the house. and I'm not upset that I don't have a job. I'm taking this time, you know, to take care of the things that need to be done for our child and staying healthy, because I got high blood pressure and I'm high risk, so they consider that high risk. So this time is helping me have a safe pregnancy. So I am actually grateful for the situation that as it arose I wasn't grateful, but now I am. It's my 2nd month unemployed and I'm enjoying the time that I have to take care of our home. So if there's any questions, you guys can put them in the comments, and I'll probably make another video about pregnancy, you know, how things have been going, how life's been going, so you guys can see. But thank you so much for watching, and like, subscribe, and comment. Give me your feedback. This is a brand new channel, so let me know like what things you'd like to see here. But again, I thank you guys so much for listening to my story, and thanks for watching.